when I amuse myself, I look at the BNP's website, especially now, seeing as though they got absolutely destroyed in this election. But some of their things are quite hypocritical like that as well. It's like, we don't believe we should, kick all them out, but we will keep our country British with any means necessary. And I looked at that, the small gun, the small right to bear arms lobby that does exist in this country. It's not a lobby per se, it's just, a group of people who support it. And on one of the forums, the guy was I was contemplating voting British National Party because they're
seriously
one of the most powerful parties.
But they hate you, Craig. They hate you.
Exactly. Not me. This guy on the forums was saying,
right, no, sorry.
Not me.
Not you. You voting BNP.
But yeah. He was saying I would vote for them, but I don't really, I'm not genocidal. I don't want to get rid of people at any cost.
They should wear a little green crescent on their coat, Craig, to identify them as being a Muslim.
Yeah.
A Muslim invader of this country.
Stupid. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, but that's the thing about. I do think that the people in the BNP are either, some of them are kind of not. I mean, there's some good things that the BNP says, right? They do say a lot of good things. They're against the war. They want to legalise firearms, and they're against kind of the political correct rubbish that we're told to do. But then they go on. I know that the people behind it are complete racists, and you got the old pictures of Nick Griffin when he was with the NF.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they're kind of hypocritical when they talk about that, because a lot of people in the Labour Party were communists, right? Like 30 years ago or 20 years ago, even some of them were big time commies. So to say that he's got extremist roots, yeah, well you don't, it's the hypocrisy. Yeah. But yeah, he's definitely a racist, and I don't really have too much time for that. But I understand why people do that. It's like because the way the government goes after, or it creates the impression that whites are going to be second-class citizens, and especially Christians as well. The government does this on purpose to stir them up. Where they'll have some petty little law like, you can't say this because it's racist or something. And they'll go, you that's not fair. You're making one law for the non-white people and another law for the white people to persecute them. So then it's the Muslims and the blacks are taking the country over. When it's not, it's the government. You know what I mean? And the government's almost all white people making these laws.
Yeah. It's stupid. I mean, the word look at hypocrisy.
It's how they stir things up, see. And then and then if I don't support kicking the immigrants out, I don't love the white race. I've got something against the white race.
Well, they say they're not fascists, but the definition of fascism is the desire of one's populace to be completely loyal to the state. If they believe that the race is the state, which they do, they determine that the state belongs to their race, which is white people.
Yeah.
So they determine, and if they say that loyalty to one's race is loyalty to one's state, inadvertently, that's what they're saying, really. And they are fascists, really. You have to be loyal to one's race. The race is the state. That means you have to be loyal to the state. Fascism,
Oh man, yeah. Well, that's.
It's a they can't get away from it. It's just there. It's like the sky blue, and to deny it's just stupid.
I agree. Yeah, that's how they.
Really, I mean, political affiliation. You should be, expressing that. Yeah.
Absolutely, but then there are some things the BNP do that I do support. Like there's There's a union they have called Solidarity, right? And they oppose all the deindustrialization that's going on. Where they ship the business out to Poland and they ship the business out to India or somewhere.
Yeah.
To ruin this country, and that's part of the kind of internationalist game that they play.
Yeah, well, like I say, that's part of banking, phenomenon, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
If you float your company on the stock exchange, the first thing that bankers will do, if you take it over or whatever, will be they'll outsource the labour. Exactly. That's the first thing they do. They don't care about communities. They don't care about anything other than the profit. That's the way it is.
Well, I think this is what's behind the local problem that we have, Craig, is because, right, I'm not against free trade fundamentally. I just think I think you're right about the borders, right? They shouldn't eventually we don't really need them. They're a kind of a thing of the past, really, in many ways. Especially because now we got the internet. I mean, we don't really need a lot of the old-fashioned ways of dividing people up and stuff. But the thing is, right, that the whole thing behind this free trade, I can't argue against it, right? It's purely logical, right? If this person wants to trade whatever, wherever they want, I can't argue. If a business wants to locate to China, who am I to say no? But at the same time, what's going to happen is we're going to get hurt eventually, because so much of the productive capacity of this country is now not coming from this country. We're a nation of. I read someone said yesterday we're a nation of call center workers and shelf stackers.
Yeah.
And we don't make anything anymore, and that's what's going to kill our wealth in the end. And what's going to happen is, Craig, we're going to be as poor as the people where they're shipping the jobs out to, right? And then eventually it'll balance out. You see?
Yeah.
That's what's happening, because we're going to continue our deindustrialization until we're poor enough to want to work in the same conditions for the same wage as the people in the third world. That's what's happening to this country right now. That's what's happening to the West. It's being destroyed by this free trade. But I'm not against free trade, but I know what they're using it for. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't make anything in this country anymore. It's all Chinese, Indian, Polish, whatever. Although even the Poles, I mean, Poland, I never really looked into Poland before until that guy died. The Polish government died. But actually Poland didn't experience a recession. Poland wasn't part of the euro. Poland was using all that coal, and they don't want you to use coal because that makes the ice caps melt, if you believe that. And it's all the things that Poland was doing was basically what the internationalists don't want them to do. You know what I mean? So you go against the grain and you get done like that. But that's the answer to a lot of the problems is that we have to start making stuff again, rather than just importing everything, which is what's killing us really at the minute. But
yeah, I mean that's the way. Capitalism's next. I mean, the pinnacle of capitalism is to have a stock exchange. That's what countries strive for, really, is to be involved in international banking, to be involved in commercial banking, like investment banking. That's what many emerging nations want to achieve. To have, a Polish stock exchange.
Yeah.
Chinese have one now. That's what they strive for, and that's what leads to businesses being floated, businesses outsourcing. And I agree with what you're saying. If we continue to outsource, eventually our people will have less and less disposable income, there'll be more and more unemployed. The population is going up. There's a baby boom.
Yeah, that's another thing because
that contributes.
Yeah.
To it. And that's what will lead, to eventually we will be poorer, and inflation, we won't be able to keep up with, and and we'll end up having nothing really, having to work elsewhere. I see what you're saying,